Chancel Repair Liability search. Okay? Now, Chancel Repair, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Chancel Repair is you move into a village with a medieval church and you might be hit with a bill for your share of the repairs to that church. Now, if it's registered land, the church now have to put their right on your register. So if you buy the property from someone else, you already see it. Okay, that's right. But it didn't used to be that way. It used to be an overriding interest up until 2013, by the way. So here's my little story. Okay, there's a very famous case on this called the Wallbanks. Okay, and the Wallbanks were an elderly couple that moved into a property with a medieval church in their village. Okay, interestingly, this was in the West Midlands, near Stratford-on-Avon, and the church was the church that Shakespeare got married in. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, they moved in, and for whatever reason, they didn't do a chancel repair search, and they didn't take out liability insurance. Number of months later, a bill lands on their doormat for £140,000. They obviously had a fit, and they challenged it, and they challenged it and challenged it all the way to the European Court of Human Rights. They lost every step of the way because this was an overriding interest at the time. At the final reckoning, they were £500,000 down because of all the legal costs. They had to sell their house to pay the bill, and their house was meant to be the legacy for their 7 children. Adult children, nevertheless, but children. So that was the case of the Wallbanks. Now I'll just finish off my story, okay? Very famous case. I've been teaching this case since 2004, okay, or 2005. Never did I really work out why these people did not sue their solicitor for negligence, right? It's not in the case, it's not in the judgment, no idea. But I always wondered, right? Now, round about maybe 8-9 years ago now, perhaps, I was celebrating a friend's birthday in our village, or the next village along, at a local curry house, okay? As you do. And I was sat opposite this guy who I didn't know very well then, but now is a very good friend of mine, a guy called Al, and his wife Claire, right? And we were sitting talking, and Al said to me, "Oh, you're that law bloke, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm the law bloke." So we started talking, and all I knew about Al was that he was a vet and a pilot, right? He did both. And his wife was a photographer, okay? That's what she did for a living. Nothing to do with law. So we start talking, and Al says to me, "Oh yeah, you do law, what kind of law?" And I said, "Land law." At which point his wife starts telling me all about this case, the Wallbanks case. "Oh, you must know the case of the Wallbanks." I was like, "Yeah." And she knew everything about this case. Turns out the Wallbanks were her parents.
No way!
Oh my God, land law royalty. I was like, oh wow. And then I said to her, "Why did your mum and dad not sue the solicitor?" And she said to me, "In 2 days' time, it's our school fete. Our children went to the same school, right?" So she said, "My mum is coming, why don't you ask her?" I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to meet the Wallbanks, that's so cool." So I did ask her, she was a lovely lady. And she said to me, "Oh, well," she said, "dear," she said, "we didn't sue him because he was a family friend."
Oh,
I was like, "You lost £500,000. I said, "Does that really matter?" "Oh, well, you know." I was like, oh my God. So I got my answer in the end.
You finally got your answer.
I know. So, great story. But B is the answer, okay?